Man in the Cornfield. I moved to Edenville, Iowa to escape my life. The town didn't have much, just a gas station, a diner, and a few blocks of houses that looked like they hadn't seen a coat of paint since the 60s. It was the kind of place where everyone knew each other's middle names and still left their doors unlocked at night. I wasn't from there. I was just the outsider who bought the old Haskins property at the edge of town. It had stood empty for years, maybe decades. Locals said it was haunted, but I figured that was just small town superstition. I wanted solitude, a fresh start, and that house, worn though it was, offered both. It was a two-story farmhouse with chipped white paint and a front porch that moaned when you stepped on it. Behind it stretched endless rows of corn, golden and thick, swaying in the breeze like waves on an ocean. No neighbors for at least a mile. I thought it was perfect. For the first few days, it was perfect. I spent time cleaning, unpacking boxes, cooking simple meals, and watching the sunsets disappear behind the corn. The silence was something I hadn't experienced in years. It was peaceful until the third night. It was around 2 a.m. when I first saw him. I woke up thirsty. The air was heavy, the kind that sticks to your skin. I went to the kitchen, poured a glass of water, and glanced out the window. And there he was. A tall, dark figure stood at the edge of the cornfield, just where the yard ended. No light touched him, but I could see him clearly. He didn't move. He just stood there facing the house. I froze. My first thought was someone's trespassing, but who would wander through cornfields in the middle of the night? I turned on the porch light. It buzzed and flickered, but cast enough glow to reach the yard. No one was there. I chalked it up to nerves. I was alone in a new place, in a house that creaked like it had a voice of its own. Maybe I imagined it. Maybe it was a trick of the moonlight. I went back to bed, glass still full. But the next morning I found footprints. They started at the edge of the field and ended just below my bedroom window. Deep impressions in the dirt, booted, deliberate. My blood ran cold. I drove into town and told the sheriff. He listened politely, offered a quick inspection, but didn't find anything useful. Probably kids, he said. Sometimes they wander the fields at night, trying to spook newcomers. He didn't believe that. I could hear it in his voice. There was something else, something he wasn't telling me. At the diner, I asked the waitress, an older woman with dyed red hair and tired eyes, if she knew anything about the house. She paused, her smile fading. "You're staying out near the old Lynch cornfield, aren't you?" I nodded. "People don't go out there after dark," she said quietly. "Not since the fire. Not since 1976. "What fire?" She just shook her head. "Best not to ask. Just keep your doors locked." That night I locked every door and window. I even pulled a dresser in front of the back door. I didn't know what I was afraid of. Not exactly. Just a shape, a presence. I didn't sleep. Around 3 a.m., the air in the house changed. I don't know how to describe it, but it was like the pressure dropped. The kind of feeling you get before a storm, but worse. It pressed in from all sides. And then came the tapping. Not loud, just soft, like fingernails against glass. I sat up in bed, heart hammering, and listened. The tapping moved from the living room window to the kitchen, then to my bedroom. I didn't dare look, and then it stopped. Just like that. I waited until sunrise before I moved. The next morning I checked again. More footprints, more deliberate, this time circling the house. I called the sheriff again. He didn't even come out, just told me over the phone to stop drinking before bed. I wasn't drinking. I bought cameras that day, 4 of them. Battery-powered, infrared, motion-triggered. I set them around the perimeter of the house. If he came again, I'd have proof. Night 5. The cameras pinged at 3:06 a.m. I sat in the living room, shotgun across my lap, watching the feed on my phone. One of the cameras, camera 2, flickered as something moved through the corn. I leaned closer. It was me. I was on the screen, walking barefoot through the field, wearing only my t-shirt and boxers. Eyes open, moving slowly. But I hadn't left the house. I looked down. Mud was caked on my feet. I wanted to believe it was sleepwalking. Stress, maybe. Trauma. That could explain the memory loss, the walking. But it didn't explain the figure I saw behind me in the footage. Tall, still, watching, and smiling. I tried to leave Edenville the next morning, packed a bag, threw it into my truck, and drove toward the highway. But the road turned to dirt, then the dirt turned to gravel, then cornfield. Just cornfield. No road, no exit. I turned back. It took me 4 hours to find the house again. That night I nailed the doors shut. Every window too. I pulled my mattress into the hallway and slept with every light on. Still the tapping came. Only this time, it was on the walls. I don't remember falling asleep. I don't remember dreaming. I just remember waking up in the field. I was 20 rows deep. The sun was just rising. My skin was cold. My feet were cut from roots and stalks. And beside me stood a man. Not just a shadow. He was real. Pale skin stretched tight over sharp cheekbones. His eyes were hollow but alive. Too alive. His smile was impossibly wide. "Found you," he whispered. Then I blinked and he was gone. The town won't help me. The cameras don't record anymore. My phone has no service. The roads don't lead anywhere. Every night he gets closer, and every morning I wake up farther into the field. I don't know what he wants. I don't know who he is. But I think he's been waiting for someone to come back, for someone to finish something. There's an old burn scar at the center of the field. Blackened earth, glassy and scorched. I found it yesterday. In the middle of it stands a scarecrow. Only it's not straw, it's bone, and it's wearing my face. Terrainer Shore.